Following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, ladies, gentlemen, everything in between and on the outskirts. Welcome to Khazara Anime, where I'll attempt to give my thoughts and review this type of manner on anime that either I've been watching or has been recommended to me to take a look at. Now, there have been plenty of anime that I've seen before, of course, and it will seem that damn near every 4 months a new series or a continuation of a well-established one just seems to pop up in overwhelming numbers. So much so that when factoring my responsibilities, I have to try to find some time to squeeze in just to sit my busy ass down, smell the roses, check up on people, and just kinda see how the world is doing. And after I'm done with all of that, I pretty much just try to find some good quality anime to watch. To start off with what I hope to be a continuation of these videos, I decided to take a look at what could quite possibly be the most gorgeous and beautiful anime adaptation of a manga to have ever cracked the code on properly using CGI. What I'm talking about is Houseki no Kuni, also known in English as Land of the Lustrous, an anime based off of the manga created by Haruko Ichikawa and brought to us by Studio Orange, the same studio that gave us the adult version of the movie Zootopia in the form of Beastars. And if you have ever seen this show, you will never ever look at bunny rabbits as being innocent again. But enough of that. Land of the Lustrous is about humanoid personifications of these crystals and earth elements, angelic Buddha looking creatures made of cream and bubblegum who shows up in these Rorschach designed portal roofs. Also making their appearances in this anime is a hard-headed monk.
ないからね。僕が寝なくなったのに付き合って結構起きててくださったからな。
And creatures who teaches the main character about feminine endowments.
僕にその水袋怖いわね。どうなってんの？これは特にありがたい貴重な部位じゃ。たたえよ、たたえよ、たたえよ。たたえよ。
Boobies.
In this world, the girls, as I said, are based off of these earth elements that live their lives facing these things called the luminous. They pretty much show up at random and hosts are destroying or taking these girls away. Why they do this? Well, you kinda don't find that out. But a major hint as to why things are the way they are and how these sentient beings came to be is hinted on and becomes an underlying mystery, especially towards the back end of this season. It's kinda like how people had to wait a ridiculous amount of time in order to find out what was in this kid's basement. And some of the hints that they give, well, I don't want to spoil it because it's quite an interesting reveal, even though it's a tad bit outlandish. But hey, that's anime, right? All of these girls have a level of hardness corresponding to the type of element that they embody. Actually, they rate themselves by this standard. The harder one's composition is, the higher the rank the girls are, along with their unique fighting abilities. These girls all take orders from a character by the name of Sensei, a mysterious monk who is shrouded in mystery and is capable of extraordinary attributes, even though most of which is very destructive. But he houses and treats these girls as if they were his own daughters, from the most useful to the ones that pretty much need help the most. And in regards to that, enter Phospholite, a high-spirited and energetic protagonist of this series, where the viewer would pretty much be experiencing the life of this land through her eyes. She is the weakest and the most fragile of them all when it comes to hardness, which means that just with a little bit of force, she can easily break into many pieces. In regards to these girls being damaged, the more pieces of themselves that is lost, along with those fragments, their memories will be lost as well. This is a vital thing to keep in mind, seeing as though character development for many of these characters will revolve around this concept. While watching Land of the Lustrous, I quickly began to realize that this whole entire season was just about seeing Fox go through situations and observing her enduring hardships to the point where me, as the viewer, can see the distinct transformation of her personality. Ultimately, it becomes apparent the noticeable difference of a character from initially starting off like this, and by the conclusion of this season, seeing her become something like this. This anime hits on the themes of loss, how change can be a good and yet terrifying, unpredictable, and sometimes unavoidable phenomenon, where in a lot of cases it can make a person unrecognizable to themselves and others. This anime also talks about finding one's purpose and how one can become an asset instead of a liability to others. And lastly, it brings up the thought of questioning things that may seem traditionally accepted by the majority. Along with Phospholite's developmental growth, other reoccurring cast of characters make their contributions and mature as well throughout the season. You have Dia, a gentle and kind-hearted person with a pacifist personality. And then on the other hand, you have Board, a menacing warrior that is kinda like the Kenpachi Zaraki of this anime, who specializes in contact and has a direct approach when it comes to confrontation. There is one supporting cast character I believe that has a pivotal role in Phospholite's becoming, and out of all the events and circumstances Phos will fall victim to, she has the biggest impact in my opinion. There are other characters as well, but they don't have any much of an important role, at least yet anyways. Now let me talk about the visuals. Jesus Christ, they're beautiful. Everything is so vibrant and shiny, kinda well like crystals. When I was younger, there was a film called Atlantis, The Lost Empire that came out, and in that movie there was a scene that to this day I found the animation quite astounding. Now with this anime series, I get somewhat of a full overdose of that very same scene. Every girl that represents their respective element all have their own individual style to them, and if you don't know which element a girl represents, the show kinda gives a background to each element along with this actual information during mid-sessions of each episode. Along with each type of element comes with a different color and design scheme usually indicated by the hair and eye color of each girl. For example, you have Phospholite whose hair emulates the actual color of the element, and how you have Dia, aka Diamond, that just lights up just like how a diamond would if light hits it. And while we're on the topic of things shining through, each of these girls' personality shines through with their facial animations, giving each their own unique characteristics. The amount of detail placed within just the animations of when things that are solid break, all the way down to how fluid the scenes are. And I'm not just talking about the texture of the things you see, I'm talking about the movement of the characters and how the camera angles adjust to give attention to action sequence, make them more epic on a technical scale. While researching this show, I came across this video where some of the scenes were initially done in 2D, and it still looks good. Even though the final product utilizes both 2D and 3-dimensional approaches simultaneously, it's nice to see from a fundamental standpoint the way the CGI helps complements, bring out, and enhances housekinokuni's scope of artistic vision. The actual translation and transcription from manga to animation is spot on. Shouts out to Eiji Unamoto, the founder of Studio Orange, but also the CGI director for being the brains behind the visuals. The amazing visuals is accompanied by the enchanting musical compositions composed by one Yoshiaki Fujisawa, who also had a hand in writing some of the music for the anime No Game No Life Zero. This guy literally makes the show come alive. Take the intro Kiyomi no Nami for example. There was never a moment I skipped it. The moment Yurika Kobayashi comes in with her heavenly voice, followed by this ever so prevalent guitar and hard keys of the piano, it just feels magical. The crime here is that the opening doesn't play the second half of the song, where these intricate drums and complex melodies deriving from string instruments just comes in and takes the song through a multitude of levels. Orchestral strings and somewhat of a classical piano style permeates the whole original soundtrack for housekinokuni. Another good example is the emotional filled performance on the song Lustrous that features the vocals coming from Tomoyo Kurosawa, who has done voice work for many of the titles from anime to games and other forms of media that one can lose count. What's noteworthy is that she is also the voice of the leading protagonist, Phospholite. Needless to say, some of these tunes on housekinokuni's original soundtrack can serve as the perfect backdrop for moments of relaxation and even meditation. In times of action, the soundtrack can rev up, and even down to moments where a revelation or a pivotal moment is taking place, it can deliver a calm and somber atmosphere. But as far as the music goes, it serves as a key component in moments where it needs it the most. I'll make sure that you can get a copy for yourself. Peep out the links in the description below. In time of recording this, there is only one season that is out, which is composed of 12 episodes with each being at least 30 minutes long, which in my honest opinion is not bad. You can binge watch this show in a day if you're that dedicated. But as I said before, this show, or at least the first season, serves as the introduction to this world and shows the evolution of Phospholite and how she matures by the end of the season. One of the main things that stuck out to me seemed to be under the concept of validation. From my perspective, I believe that to some degree, and especially within the structure of a community, a tad bit of validation or even acceptance from others can be monumental in a person's life when one is trying to search for their individual purpose. It provides a little bit of encouragement, or at least if not a brief moment of support. A lot of characters, including Phospholite of this show, wrestles with this. Some try their hardest to be recognized through utilizing their obvious talents for the betterment of others. Some try their best and hopes to be recognized through their selfless acts, while others, on the surface, seemingly tries to reject validation from others, but secretly desires as much as everybody else does. Overall, the anime show housekinokuni is a breath of fresh air. I'm hoping that the second season comes out and probably answers some of the questions that's left unanswered. Right now, you can watch The Land of the Lustrous just like I did via the subscription service Amazon Prime, but you can also stream it on Verve and also High Dive. But until next time, peace.